weight and packaged goods method of guesstimating.
Whoa.
Let's dive in. So, what is it exactly? Well, it's when you use the weight of a food that has nutrition facts for an item that doesn't have the facts.
Seems pretty straightforward.
It is. It's actually probably one of my favorite methods to use. And so, a couple of use case scenarios would be, for instance, like pastries, baked goods, sweets. And so, what we're talking like donuts. I mean, I'm sure you've probably seen some of our bougie, fancy ass donuts that we eat. Bagels, danishes, cakes, cookies, pies, kolaches. That's how you say it, kolaches.
Yep.
Breads, Pop Tarts, anything that's baked, from like a mom and pop bake shop. Other foods that it can also be helpful for would be like pastas, ice cream servings, beef ribs. You'll find out soon enough, and other different meats.
But I like it for things that are, especially for us, because we're extreme. It's like, oh, like something that's giant size. It's like, oh, cool. Like this is just a huge version of something else. Let's utilize that something else to figure out how much is in this.
Yeah. And so it's typically used at home. And the reason why you typically use it at home is because like you're weighing something. And so for instance, like it's great for when you're bringing home goodies. So have you ever been to maybe like a mom and pop bake shop and you're like, oh, I really want to eat this, but like maybe you didn't plan it in and you would like to like stay on plan, then you can plan it in for the following day. And so then you like pick up whatever goodies you want, and then you can bring home that like big ass chocolate chip cookie or whatever, and then be able to use this method to plan it into your intake. It's also great for like when you're eating leftovers from a restaurant. So we'll dive into that momentarily.
Or if you're like us and you have giant cookies or desserts or things
Yeah.
sent to the house,
Yeah.
Nationwide delivery, this is great.
Yeah. So just a general overview on how to use weights to guesstimate foods without the facts is like, first, you're going to find something similar. So like that tends to be, we'll say the theme for most of these guesstimation methods. You're going to utilize Google, you'll check chain restaurants. Then you want to look at photos to make sure like, hey, like this probably looks very similar to what I'm about to eat. And then you want to make sure that the nutrition facts that you find actually have like the weight of the item. It doesn't just say like servings on there, because otherwise
one cookie.
Yeah, like because like what is the weight of one cookie? And then you'll weigh your food that doesn't have the facts, and then you utilize the nutrition facts from the thing that you have the weight of as your nutrition facts for the thing that you don't have the information for. So let's go into an example. So talking about these pastries, baked goods, utilizing this method, one of our favorite ways to use this method.
Boom.
Yes.
Cinnamon roll as big as your head. How do you account for that?
Yeah.
How do you track this?
This was something that we found. It was in Virginia, and we seen it, and we're like, oh my! I think it was like $5. It was something
we
like
couldn't pass it up because it looked phenomenal. It was like, this is so cheap, and
Yeah,
especially compared to some of the stuff that we.
For sure. And so this thing weighed in 1.6 pounds. 1.6 pounds. We've seen big ass Texas cinnamon rolls that we haven't yet gotten to do, and they come in like 10 pounds, but they are on our to-do list.
That's
the
extra frosting that was on the box. We had to like scrape and
oh yeah.
So we could account for all of it because it was going to get eaten.
Yeah, because I was going to eat the frosting. So the thing came in at 735 grams, 1.6 pounds. So this was very similar scenario where we had seen this thing. We're like, all right, how are we going to account for this? We want to plan it into our intake because actually at the time, ironically, we were in a calorie deficit.
Yeah, so this is what dieting can look like.
It can. So what we did, I mean, it's a cinnamon roll, and we all know like cinnamon bun or cinnabon. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. So that is like one thing that you could utilize if you're like, oh, like I know this place has nutrition facts, I can just like go directly to them. Or if you have no idea, then you can just say like cinnamon roll nutrition facts and see what pops up. As we talk about utilize higher ranking ones, known trusted sources. This was not a skinny cinnamon roll, so don't be looking for those macro-friendly ones. It was not vegan. It was not like gluten-free. Sometimes it's not keto. Sometimes those things can obviously affect the nutrition facts, so you want to find something that's similar to what it is that you're trying to account for.
And
right?
like we talked about before, just being honest with yourself and make the best appropriate guess based on what you know. It's like, all right, this is probably as close to what I'm eating as possible.
Yep. And so here's a couple that we pulled up. So the one on the left was found through Nutrition X, which we've talked about before. And what we're looking for is like, okay, like let's look at the cinnamon roll. It doesn't look like there's frosting on it, but it does give the weight of the cinnamon roll. So it says one large cinnamon roll comes in weighing at around 88 grams. And then it gives the nutrition facts for 88 grams worth of cinnamon roll. And then we have Cinnabon, which is nice because if you didn't know, their nutrition facts all have their weights on there. So you can see like one classic cinnamon roll comes in weighing 241 grams. Now, obviously, when you go there, person dependent, whoever's making it, it's going to vary. But regardless, it really doesn't matter because we know that it's 880 calories for 241 grams of a frosted, delicious cinnamon roll.
But it's also even like looking at those two, it's good to be able to look and say, oh, cool, because like one cinnamon roll here weighs considerably more than the other one. Like if you look at the Nutrition X one, 88 grams versus 241 grams, like that's a huge variance, which is why it's important to take note and find something that does have the weight.
Yeah, and they called 88 grams a large cinnamon roll.
Yeah.
And then we have Cinnaholic. So we've never had Cinnaholic, but we apparently they're vegan.
Oh,
So that can affect the nutrition facts depending on what they're putting on it. But the reason why I wanted to share this is because it just says the serving size. And so that doesn't really help us because like what is a serving? So you could try like searching for, what an average serving is, or if you've been there and you can actually like weigh it yourself and see like on average, what does my cinnamon roll with vanilla frosting come out to be? And then you can kind of create your own weighted nutrition facts for it. But just wanted to throw that out there for you. So our cinnamon roll, it's 735 grams. And the biggest thing with this is making sure that when you are using your nutrition tracker, that you change it from servings to grams or ounces or however you are measuring the thing without the fact.
yeah. Or you define the serving, right?
Yeah.
Like if it's by weight,
yeah.
This is what we're using.
Yeah. And so sometimes like you could even look to see like in your nutrition tracker where it's like, okay, cinnamon roll, it's 880 calories or however many calories for one serving. Sometimes they don't have the grams, and so you can update it and put the grams that you found in there. But biggest thing, obviously, we're measuring in grams so that you can say how much you ate. So we change it over to grams, and then you log what you ate. Very simple. So if we wanted to eat this whole entire thing, then we would log 735 grams of a cinnamon roll.
Yep.
And that's how you account for it.
And that would put us at 2,700 calories.
There basically. You go. Yeah, that's if we ate the whole dang thing. Now let's go into a little pasta example. And so this is a pasta we had that a friend gave us because they had done a catering event. Massive trays. We're like, oh my God, you can't just throw away the pasta.
Yeah, no wasted food.
No wasted food. And so we actually, so we brought some home, but there were so many trays that we had froze the pasta away. And so we wanted to be able to like utilize it in future dishes. And then we also wanted to eat it while accounting for it. This was a mushroom basil pesto bow tie pasta. It's like a mouthful right there. So very similar to the cinnamon roll, we're going to search something. So like when you're searching for these facts, like you could put packaged in there because we want to look for something that has the weight of it. And when we go to the grocery store, they typically have the weighted amounts for the servings. And so you could be as descriptive or as not descriptive as you want. It's obviously going to change what populates when you're searching. So for in this search, I had searched packaged basil, pesto, bow tie pasta, nutrition facts. I can't even say it. That's a twister.
You can't say it 3 times fast. You can't even say it 1 time slow.
And this is what I found. So I found 3 different entries. So Jimmy John's is a chain restaurant.
They're scary fast.
They're apparently scary fast. Okay. And I was just curious. I was like, oh, like, let's see, like this kind of looks similar, but it doesn't say the weighted grams. But what you can do, and what I did for this was I had found like, apparently there's a Reddit forum and people used to work at Jimmy John's and they're like, oh, yeah, there's this new pasta that came out, but like, this is the amount that's supposed to be in these containers. And the amount that is supposed to be is typically what the nutrition facts are for. So I found that it's supposed to be 114 grams for one serving. Do you have to do that? No. But I was just curious. I'm like, oh, like, what does that even look like for that? And then Whole Foods, Grocery stores are also a great place for this type of thing. So one serving for this was 142 grams, gives you 290 calories. You got your basil pesto bow tie. This was done through Nutrition X, and that was a picture of it. So I'm looking at the pictures, kind of the ingredients to be like, how many calories are we looking at? Is there a weight? What's kind of like in it? Does this seem like it'd be relatively similar? Okay, great. And then pick what you want to utilize, being honest, and what you think is going to be closest, and then use that weight, just like you did, very similar to the cinnamon roll, as the amount that you would be eating for what you're eating that doesn't have fats, right?
Yep.
All right, let's briefly cover looking at grocery stores, because this is one of our favorite things to do.
Yep.
And it is literally like probably one of the most helpful, eye-opening treasure hunts and skills that you can learn and acquire. And it's just fun. It's fun.
Because then it also, like she said, you'll see the actual size of things. You can compare, you put your hands on it, all of these fun things. And you go to the grocery store anyway, so you might as well learn while you're there.
Yeah. And you get steps. Bonus. So it gives you visual sizes in comparison to the actual sizing that is listed, so that it can help you with your guesstimations, and it allows you to find all kinds of new foods. You want to know how we know all of these new candies that are coming out? Because we explore the grocery stores all the damn time.
And it also depends on what you have exposure to. Because like for us, I mean, we love to go out to eat, but honestly, and over the years, we haven't frequented a lot of like fast food or traditional places to go out to eat. So when you're searching for stuff, and it's like, well, how big is a sandwich from this place? Because like, I don't know, I haven't been there in years. So it's hard to have a relative comparison when you haven't put your hands on it. Whereas like if you're at the grocery store, it's like, oh, like I've seen this, I picked it up. This is really close to what we ate. And so obviously it depends on what you're exposed to or what you're familiar with. This is something that we love to do because it allows you to be there, see actual size and hands-on.
Yep. And so a couple of our favorite areas that we like particularly like to explore outside of the clearance area, and just like the whole store in general, the baked goods and fridge area. So you've probably been there, where there's all the like cookies, the croissants, the pastries, the danishes. There's packaged sandwiches, there's pastas, there's cake slices, there's everything. And when you look at it, you can see like, okay, like this thing of pasta is 1 or 2 servings, and it comes in weighing about this much. It just gives you information.
Yep. And not everything will have the, like in the bakery, not everything will have the nutritional breakdown,
No.
but a lot of them will. Sometimes it does look different than a traditional nutrition tag. It'll be more like paragraph form versus like the chart. So
Yeah,
if you
like
do
under the ingredients list portion.
Yeah, and so like if you do see it and like it doesn't look familiar, take a second to like, like read or take a look at what you're actually looking at. Because a lot of times the information is there, it's just packaged differently.
Because even I think that Sam's Club has the nutrition facts on some of their cooked stuff versus Costco. But if you search like Costco nutrition facts, you can sometimes find their like internal things. And I think you could ask for them as well. But like these are just some of the finds that we found, like this chicken katsu, which is actually kind of challenging to find the weight of that in general. So it's challenging to know like, okay, like this much of a chicken katsu is this many calories, but this gives you a weight and gives you an idea of how big something like that is. We got cake slices. We even have a pie cakin.
Yep.
If you haven't had one, there is a thing that's called a pie cakin. It is worth it. And we found this thing at Walmart that has nutrition facts.
And
so,
it's reasonably
yeah.
priced, like realistically, like if you've ever been curious to try something like that, Walmart's a great place to pick one up, give it a try.
Yeah. Cannolis, like even cannolis, because
Holy
sometimes like
cannoli.
you can get mini cannolis, you could get big cannolis. So if you have that visual of like, all right, a cannoli, it's 3 ounces, and this is how many calories for a 3-ounce cannoli. So when you go to a mom and pop shop, you're like, oh, this looks probably similar to what I saw at the grocery store. So it's probably similar in calories.
Yep.
Then we got the freezer area. Very great. So checking to see like, all right, different ice creams, or look what we found. We've found crispy potato corn dogs. So like those Korean style corn dogs, you can utilize that. Pie slices to give you an idea. Some of these wonderful breakfast sandwiches. We even got beef ribs that are smoked. This was such a phenomenal find, and especially the fact that like it lists the nutrition facts on there.
And even like a lot of the freezer section, you'll be able to find like Philly cheesesteaks or like create things that you would think, oh, normally don't have the nutrition facts, but because they're packaged in the store, they'll have it. And to the point of this method is they'll also have the weight. So like maybe these crispy potato corn dogs aren't as big as something you would get at Two Hands, but it'll tell you how much they weigh. And then if you go to a place like Two Hands where they make them and they're a little bit oversized, if you're at like the fair and they have a gigantic
Yeah.
one, you can know like, all right, it's about 3 of those ones.
Yes. And then another helpful area is the grocery store website. So this is Central Market. And so you can actually search their website. So if you go into like the bakery section, not all grocery stores have them, but if you use the Guesstimator, I have a couple listed in there. So like Acme Market apparently is like a Randall / like Kroger brand, Fresh Direct. But you go to their website and then you can click on the pastry item or whatever it is that you want to try to account for. And it has the picture, and oftentimes it has the nutrition facts and the serving size. So for instance, here's a carrot cake slice that we had gotten up in Dallas. And of course, there was no nutrition facts for it.
Mom and pop shop made it.
Yep. And so I went to Central Market's website, and you can see like down there, it says view nutrition facts. And then once you click the nutrition facts, they populate, and one slice, so their slice of carrot cake is 255 grams and comes in around 1,060 calories. That's the Central Market.
Worth it.
Yep. And then Randall's. So Randall's at the store, they have this artisan colossal carrot cake. And so I don't know what the hell they put in this. I mean, obviously I could read the ingredients, but like
it's colossal,
it's
apparently,
colossal
in calories.
and like it's around this, it's the same 9 ounces there. This one's 255, they're both 9 ounces. This one is 900 calories more. I have no idea why in comparison, but they didn't have nutrition facts. So I searched for like Randall's carrot cake nutrition facts kind of a thing, and Acme, same exact picture, and it gave the exact breakdown for the macros on it. And then last one here, you can also, a lot of these fancy chains like Fogo de Chao, they have nutrition facts. Texas de Brazil, so these are Brazilian churrascarias. They have nutrition facts. They may only have the calories sometimes, or sometimes they'll have the whole thing. They don't always have the weight. However, what I did was I had called the restaurant. I was like, just out of curiosity, oh, hey, how much does a slice of carrot cake weigh? And I will tell you right now, those chefs and the bakers in the back know about the ounces that they're serving. And
For their food
so
costs, they have to. So
they have to.
they'll know. The
Yeah.
person answers the phone
Yeah.
may not know, but it's like, oh, like, could you ask, the kitchen?
Yeah.
The kitchen will definitely know.
Yeah. So for one slice of Texas de Brazil, it came in at 15.50. And I know that a slice, based on calling them, is around 12 ounces. So if I said that, my carrot cake was 9 ounces, that comes in at around 11.70, which would be comparable to that Central Market cake that we had seen. And if we're looking at like the pictures, you can see like, oh, how many layers is it? Is it more frosting? Is it more cake? Just to kind of give you that idea of like what seems closer. And so for our estimation, we decided to use the Central Market one, and we logged how many grams that we ate of it because we were at home and we could easily weigh it.
Well, that was nice. I was like, oh, cool. I can cut a slice as big as I want
Yep.
because I have the weighted measurement. So if
Yep.
I have something that's a little bit bigger or a little bit less, I'm doing less guessing because like, all right, cool. Like this is how much per weight. Cut a slice as big as you want, weigh it, and you're good to go.
Yep. So basically, explore your local grocery store and have fun. It is like a treasure hunt. You never know what you're going to find, and they're always releasing new things.
Yep.
And don't be afraid to ask, aka call restaurants ahead of time, because there's so much that you can learn, and it's so freeing in knowing that information, and it just gives you information for future scenarios.
Well, like we've talked about so many times, like this is a skill, something that like requires education, kind of study looking. So be curious when you're out and about, when you're looking for stuff. Like the only way that you'll know how to log this stuff and you get better and better at it is by learning and doing.
Yep. Yep. So in conclusion, the weight method, it's great for baked goods and items that you typically like weigh at home. It's great for leftovers, like something that you've brought home from a restaurant. Pick something that looks similar and do a couple comparisons. Like for instance, if we're looking at that carrot cake, I was like, wow, that's a massive difference. So have something that's like, okay, like this seems to be the general theme. I'm going to utilize this entry. And then don't be afraid to explore your local grocery stores and utilize their website, super helpful, to help with guesstimations. And of course, watch our other guesstimation lessons to learn more methods on how to approximate foods without facts. But if you have questions, be sure to submit a burning question or apply for a breakthrough session.